Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whalenerds podcast. This is episode number 66. My name is Slater, and I'm here with Eric Austin Yee, Adam, and Katlyn. Dang,
Hey, what's
Eric,
up?
Adam, Katlyn.
Adam Fenster.
Adam Fenster. Here we go. Starting early.
You know what, Adam? Let's just get that out of the way. Why are we calling you the wrong name?
Well, we had a little article in the local Santa Barbara newspaper about our repower of the boat, and it was actually really funny. One of my coworkers went up to the lady who was, writing the little paper on us, and she gave her a piece of paper with all of our names on it just to make sure she got them all right. And she messed up 2 names. But anyway, so yeah, my name was Adam Fenster in the newspaper, which is how do you mess that up? Maybe her handwriting was wrong. I don't know.
Maybe his R's look like F's or
yeah.
But it's ER, not.
Yeah, it's ER, not FE. Fenster.
Even better.
Maybe it auto-corrected. It's just like Ernster. That's not real.
Fenster is Fenster real?
I don't know.
So yeah, that's where that's from.
Oh, jeez. How the heck are you guys?
I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
I bet.
The yard is such a pain in the butt.
You're almost done.
Except we're not almost done because they are going to extend it another month.
What? A whole nother month.
Welcome
So
to the yard.
originally
Welcome to the
it was
boatyard.
we were supposed to get out February
If you're not in
1st.
Monterey, they
but
extended
now,
for a whole year
Year and a half.
or 2.
oh my gosh,
Year and a half. Come on now.
I could not do that. I would die of depression.
Twice as late and 3 times over budget.
Yeah,
That's how the
seriously.
boatyard goes.
That's exactly how it goes.
It's becoming a fire festival of boats.
No,
So-
dude, every freaking shipyard is like that. Tell me it's not.
No, dude, the boat that's parked next to us, the Coral Sea, they do fishing charters, and they were in the yard for 4 days.
Wow.
And I was
Pulled
like,
it out, scraped the barnacles off, had the Coast Guard look at it, went
pretty
back in.
much. That's exactly what they did.
I mean,
It's all right. I'll
Good for
survive.
them.
I'll survive, maybe.
repowering is a big deal. That's always going to go
It's
way
definitely-
longer than you think.
It's definitely the biggest yard time our company's ever had. So it's a lot, but hopefully it'll be worth it.
It's all right. You guys aren't really missing out on a whole lot. It sounds like it's, even
Yeah,
though whale
that's
watching
true.
is still allowed, it's probably pretty slow, right?
Yeah, I can't even imagine how slow it would be right now. Just in normal, winter seasons, it's usually pretty slow for a lot of companies. Throw COVID in the mix, I can't even imagine, but it's all good.
Yeah, so
We're surviving.
take the time, get the boat nice how you want it, and be ready
Exactly.
for when the people are ready.
Springtime.
See you in the summer.
I totally forgot, dude. It's January. I should be out on the beach looking for gray whales.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it should be.
I got gray whales.
Yeah, is that what you saw?
Yeah, it's just been gray whales and Rizzos.
Gray whales and
whales and-
Rizzos.
Gray whales and Rizzos has been the
Sounds
highlight,
like-
yeah.
January in Monterey.
But I got 9 grays the other day, so it's good.
Picking it up.
Nice.
But Facebook let me know that I had 20 a year ago.
Hey, Katlyn, how many did
Wow.
I have in 2016? Do you remember that?
Gray whales?
Remember? I was there's 7. I was counting. There's 11
Oh,
gray whales.
yeah. It was 13 or something on the drone.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
nice.
count.
It
Don't
wasn't.
count
It
them.
wasn't that though. I've had a bigger number. It wasn't. It had nothing to do with the number of gray whales. Just someone
were
thought I
live
was
streaming
counting the
it.
passengers instead of the gray whales, and I was like, I'm not counting the passengers on the
'Cause
boat. I
you're-
don't like.
We were running the live stream from the drone, but you know how the drone doesn't record audio because you just hear the
Yeah.
blades. So then it was from the station, you could hear me and Slater talking during the
Yeah,
live
it's
stream.
when you go live on Facebook. You know how it is, Adam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was counting the whales, and for some reason, this lady thought that I was counting the passengers. I'm like, why would I be counting the passengers while I'm flying the drone?
Yeah, that means you're not looking at the whales at all. You're just
Yeah,
like, oh look,
exactly.
there's 13 people on the boat while I'm flying this aircraft over whales.
That's pretty fun. People are wacky, man.
Yeah, they are.
I think I had a video of like 17 gray whales or something a long time ago.
Yeah,
In Newport.
we had something like that down south when we were both down there. It was a day there was like
Like a northbound group of
big
males.
pod like that. Yeah.
Most I've seen is like 5.
This time
Really?
of year in Monterey, you can see pretty big groups of southbound whales.
Yeah. I had
Now
northbound
until
ones.
mid-February.
Northbound ones had pretty. I think it was either 17 or close to 20. It's pretty intense.
It's
I had
actually
big ones like that.
it's actually crazy thinking about the days, and you could probably look up in February where the whales are literally going both ways, and there's like 30 a trip, not 30 a day, like 30 a trip.
Yeah.
They're just passing each other.
Yeah.
Like-
What's up, dude? I've had
Yeah.
days where just sitting at the point on a clear day, and we'd had close to 100 whale days on a good clear
What?
weather in the right moment. Yeah. 100 gray whales. Yeah.
I found this video on my hard drive in Newport. I think it's like 2015 or 16, and it's a gray whale and a fin whale. They like pass each other, and it's just like so random. I wonder what the gray whale thinks. I'm sure they see each other more often than we think, but
Oh, yeah.
still, it's just like, yo, what up, homie?
Yeah. Hey, friend. See you next year.
Yup.
I think the crazy are the same. See you later.
Yeah, I used to tell people like during this time of year in Monterey, on a clear day, if you didn't have a lot of swell, you could probably see 30 whales an hour. It was kind of like an average pace for the peak week or two at Point Pinos.
Crazy.
Mhm.
And then in Big Sur, I would argue that you could probably see more than that because of the elevation too during the peak time.
Eric and I always go way too early in the season.
We still saw
Because you guys
stuff,
get
yeah.
excited.
We still saw stuff.
Facebook let me know that me and you went there like I think it was like December 1st, and we literally like got out and like didn't wait too long. It was like boom, there was one.
I know we saw a couple that were like around the corner once we got there and stuff too.
Yeah, me and you had like that one lucky day. We like just like literally got out of the car, waited like 10 minutes, and
It was right there.
And then we just happened to be talking about Tim, and then Tim shows up. We're like, whoa! It's like,
I still haven't had a condition day, like a good condition day, where it's like, you know what I mean, where it's blue, like, you know, the videos that Tim has.
And the glare over there is weird. It's like you'll have this small time frame from like
morning.
sunrise to like noon. If not, the sun's at a weird angle where you're just looking at glare and you're getting a nice tan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't really tell Adam about that spot.
Yeah, we can't.
Yeah.
If we do, we have to kill him.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
we could show him.
please don't
and just.
We
Please
can
don't
show
tell
you,
me.
but we can't tell you how to count the miles, and we can't tell you reference points. We have to
Everything's
blindfold you until you get
Yeah.
there.
What's cool is everything's
Make
there,
him
including
car sick.
yeah.
What's funny, it's literally like one of the biggest opening like spots you can pull out too.
No one just pays attention. Yeah, no one pays attention to like.
It's Bixby Bridge, isn't it?
No, it's not
You could
Bixby
not see
Bridge. I mean, you can see whales
I'm
there,
sure
but
you
it's
can.
not very good.
And what's crazy? That spot people have seen blues, fins, grays,
Yep,
humpbacks, orca
Yeah.
just the other
Yep.
day.
Rizzos.
Rizzos, yeah. Condors, which is
Minky.
cool. Yeah, condors
I've
are right
seen
there.
a minky whale there.
Maybe wild gophers.
Wild gophers, yeah. Beavers.
Sea
I've seen
otters. Sea lions.
I've seen humpbacks like lunge feeding and breaching off of Big Sur before. That was cool.
Oh,
Me too.
You know the spot, and don't do it to kill you.
Oh,
No,
you
he
might
doesn't
have
know
to.
the spot.
I probably
know the
do,
spot.
but it's probably.
Yeah, no idea.
No, I
don't
bet
know.
you saw him lunge feeding off like Yankee Point
I don't know where that is.
Or Rocky Point.
or Rocky Point.
Shoot, I forgot what I was gonna say now.
Well, part of your initiation someday, Adam, when we can all get together, is we're gonna take you to this.
You have to
spot.
run and jump off that cliff.
Oh, he has
Oh
to
my-
eat a burrito.
He would
Burrito in the
die.
river. Remember Slater? The burritos in the river is the best.
Dude, how about those
we can
people
have
that were
burritos in
walking
the river?
walking down the cliff? Oh, and Adam, for the initiation, you have to wear no socks and no shoes and sit in the river. It's so cold.
I'll
Eating a
do
burrito.
it. Dude, I used
In the
to
winter
swim in
time.
freaking- I used to shower in the sea in Washington when I lived there because I didn't have a shower, so it's fine. That water was like 50 degrees, not even.
He'll be fine.
I'll be chilling, dude.
All right, so let's hop into some of this news right here. That
All right.
Wait, what about Katlyn? Wait,
What?
what about Katlyn?
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I
you
saw
see-
whales.
Oh yeah, she's got all the
You
whales.
saw whales.
Yeah, I saw lots of humpback whales. There's starting to be more and more calves. They haven't really like sucked into Matalaya Bay yet. But I've been whale watching out of Lahaina and Matalaya, and we've had plenty of whales. We had a couple times we had whale songs so loud that I like shut the speaker off and like put my ear on the side of the boat because I was like, this whale has to be right underneath us somewhere.
Did you make all the passengers put their ear to the hull
Yeah,
of the boat?
one
should've.
of them. One of the trips we did because it was so loud. We had to like turn the little amp down because it was like blowing out the amp. So that was pretty cool.
What even is a whale? I don't even
They're
know.
a really large ocean-going
about
creature.
turtles?
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Thanks for
we've
that.
seen lots of turtles and
What species?
all green sea turtles since the last time I talked to you. We had that hawksbill like my
Leatherbacks?
first day back, but
Yeah, I see leatherbacks at least once a week.
Yeah,
you know
this
what,
year
you guys?
I saw about 9 individual leatherbacks. This is the best year ever.
Why are you guys so mean?
This one day I saw 2 individuals in one
Well,
day.
You've seen like
So mean.
Oh yeah, but
Monk
what
seal, I
about a
haven't
basking
seen.
shark?
You know what, Adam?
fast.
Be
I say
quiet.
the F word to him.
No.
wow, Adam. Good thing you saw big fish.
You know what? Let me know when you guys swim with
Not
the
even
manta
that rare.
rays, okay?
The guy who built the wharf used to catch
Kill
basking
'em.
sharks.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Randy.
Randy, yeah. That was nuts.
Like, yeah, we just towed it right into the whaling station. He's like 90-something years old.
He's like, we got $70 for it.
Yeah, and that's a lot of money for back then.
Yeah, it was like in the late 30s.
It's like a kid then. He's like me and my little
He
buddy.
said
were
he tied it
teammates.
to his little rowboat and it's bigger than the boat.
Yeah,
That's
him and his brother
crazy.
were checking the gill net and they tied it to the skiff, and he said it took him 7 hours to
We
drive.
need to interview all those old time Monterey guys. They got some intense like stories that actually like are important because
We
like
should
some of the
have
things
them on.
I was like,
We should
what?
have them on the podcast. Just like pull them
Eric,
aside.
you're gonna have to wrangle them.
If I
Dude,
could get Duke, man.
Imagine.
We can make him a co-host.
Well, just imagine the stories that like when that dude passes away. Like imagine the stories that are gone. You know,
Okay,
like that.
so
Like, it's
here's-
hard to document.
Oh, don't worry. We've heard Randy's stories about 46 times each.
I haven't. They're all on the
Yeah,
iPad
yeah.
in Discovery.
Oh, yeah.
I recorded him telling a bunch of them.
So I think I might have talked to a few of you about this. Some of the old timers were talking about orca that used to come really close to shore in Monterey. They would actually pick off sea lions off the breakwater, and also there was some in Monastery, and also there's that really famous incident in the early 70s where the guy got bit by an orca over at Point Sur. So I'm thinking there used to be a pod around here that went really shallow, picking off sea lions and stuff like that.
I mean, I've
Wow.
seen him hunt sea lions off the breakwater.
Yeah, and you don't see it anymore, or at least you don't hear it about it often. But I think there was a
Yeah.
pod here that used to go super shallow out here, picking things literally off the breakwater.
Well, it's like LA pod too. Like they're probably all gone also.
Yeah, that was at 96 was the last sighting. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the whales that ate Jaws
Mm-hmm.
group.
So many of those whales in that catalog, that was a Discovery, the old one, Or not?
Yeah,
You
the
don't even see
original
them
one
anymore.
from was it 87?
97.
97.
Yeah.
Adam
Only
wasn't
some
born yet.
work on like a new.
I wasn't born
catalog.
yet.
Oh yeah, 'cause-
You were-
yeah, Adam wasn't even born yet.
Adam wasn't even born when
Baby.
that was
Adam
But,
Spencer wasn't born.
Yeah, most of those whales are dead now.
If only someone did an updated catalog.
throw a rip up in the chat.
Okay. Anyways, so yeah, so I saw whales and turtles and spotted eagle rays
I like
and
turtles.
a barracuda.
I actually
Oh,
love spending
Barracuda.
time with turtles.
Huh?
I was just thinking about the last time I was there, and I was just like sitting in the middle, and there was like, remember the little like cleaning station or wherever we were at, there was like 4 turtles there.
Yeah, and Wailea.
It was you and I and Margot and Amber, and we were just freaking living our lives.
Yep.
Or I don't even know.
What a time. What a time that was.
With that beautiful evening light, sun setting, I'm in the water.
So magical.
Flicking your hair back and forth.
He was.
No, my hair was buzzed.
Oh, true.
All right,
He was
well.
trying to flick it.
You guys want to start with the filmography?
Oh,
sure.
Dude, yeah.
What's The Ocean Souls about?
Oh, that's me.
It's your film?
Yeah, I made it.
No, you made a one piece of it.
No. So Ocean Souls is this really cool documentary that I'm pretty sure they reached out to you, Slater, but I don't think you responded. But
Wow, way to put me on blast, dude.
But
It's hurtful,
I
Adam.
think Scott Wilson, who's a really amazing photographer, was the DOP, director of photography. And essentially what they wanted to do was like just show off how incredible cetacea are. And so they wanted to create a film that showed off the highest amount of cetacea from a large portion of the world's, best cinematographers or videographers or photographers. So they essentially just reached out to, I think, over 100 photographers, marine photographers and cinematographers, and just asked, if we could contribute footage for the film. And they just came out with a contributors screening, which I watched, and it was really awesome. It's a little bit different than most of the documentaries we're used to. It's not really a scientific documentary. Like, obviously there's some scientific facts, and like they do have, I'm pretty sure they interview some scientists, can't remember who, but they really just try to focus on, like the connection between like people and nature and cetacea in specific, and they show off, their intelligence and their family groups and their reliance on each other and their care for each other and their altruism and, kind of everything. So it was a really cool documentary. I'm not sure when it's coming out for the public, but that'll be in the next couple months. So keep an eye out for it.
So is it going to try and go on like the film festival circuit first, or is it just going to be digital screening?
Yeah. So it's already won some film festival. But it was a really, really cool documentary. And like I said, it's a little bit different than what we're used to, in terms of just like, it's not like a BBC documentary. And obviously they have like different quality of camera work from different photographers around the world, but it's just cool to have a conglomerate of like-minded people like that. I think was really cool. So
nice. Well, keep us posted on when it's available to the public.
I will do. So that was fun.
Guess what I watched?
Free Willy?
My Octopus Teacher.
Free Willy.
I mean, I've seen Free Willy
Flipper.
multiple times, but yes, I watched Octopus Teacher.
Cobra Kai.
Finally,
Okay.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah, Macho?
Katlyn, you're kind of quiet, I think. Or Eric is. No, Eric's quiet.
Eric's quiet.
Am I quiet now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with you, bro.
Maybe
He was
volume.
adjusting his mic volume.
So, Octopus Teacher, what are we, about like 5 months late now?
Wow.
Basically, if I was an octopus, I could shapeshift.
Okay, wait. So I haven't seen it in a while, but Katlyn saw it last. So what was your like favorite part? Like, what did you take from that film?
When he cried.
Did you
I think
cry?
I think it was just pretty
I did.
it was pretty interesting to see him, like, the videographer reflect on how he had just gotten way too wrapped up in like life on land and work, and like he just came to the ocean to find some peace of mind and to get back to nature, because he's a wildlife photographer and videographer, but like he got so stuck in the rat race that he like was finding himself not even enjoying it anymore. And it's like, you do have to kind of take a minute and ground yourself. And he just started snorkeling every day, like not even with the intention of making a film. Like he just wanted to get in the water and like chill out. Which I
And you
can
witnessed
empathize
something
with.
amazing.
Yeah, and then he found this story, and I think that's kind of like, it's kind of like when you have writer's block and then you like go for a hike and then all of a sudden you're like, I know how to finish this chapter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that part of it was really cool for me to see someone who had like gotten caught up but then found a way to like get back into it.
I'm still trying.
And then seeing his son. Yeah, and then seeing his son at the end be so excited about going swimming and diving and all that, that was cool too.
Yeah.
So
Don't give away the end.
I mean, the octopus is cool, but like I think that seeing the method behind doing the whole project was also pretty, for me, that was the most interesting part.
Dude, they captured some key moments though. Like, oh my
Yeah.
god. Like they told that whole story.
That story is incredible.
Yeah. And
With
he
pictures.
free
You know what I
dove.
mean? Like
He's free diving the whole time he's filming, and I think that's also incredibly impressive.
And that water must have been freezing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just out there in a shirt and like trunks.
no, I think it definitely gets. It's not. I think it's cold there, but I don't think it's crazy, right?
If you guys look, what's
South Africa?
living there, it's literally almost. It looks. If someone didn't
Yeah,
tell
I
you
mean,
it was
it
South
looks-
Africa, it looks like Southern California
Yeah.
or Central
Yeah.
California. Yeah.
But I mean, like the kelp forest ecosystem has to be sort of cold, right? Like
Yeah, it prefers
68
the cool-
degrees.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a little chilly to
Well,
be in there with no
Yeah, for
no
sure.
clothes other than your swim trunks.
Right? It's not. Is it near Cape Town or no?
I think he was. I don't know where in South Africa
He was in the water.
That's helpful, Eric.
Got him.
It's such an interesting story. Like, could you imagine if you were able to follow a whale like that? You know, like go out every day and just find the same whale and just.
I honestly think
what it runs
that would
into.
be easier than finding a flippin' octopus. Have you ever tried to find an octopus while you're snorkeling? It's
Well, once
so
you
hard.
find the octopus den, you're like, all right, I know where the den is. But like a whale, you're like,
Yeah.
you're like,
until it camouflages into the kelp, and you're like, is that kelp?
But you can't take a film crew and follow the same whale for hours unless.
And at nighttime, what are you gonna do?
It's true.
Spotlight
well,
it.
it's just.
I guess
it's interesting. Like imagine the stories you could tell from a whale's life, from a singular whale's life.
Well, I think another good candidate that's charismatic megafauna would be like a harbor seal, right? Because they're in a local. Right, they're in a local area. You can identify them with their marks.
I'm just laughing at our harbor seals under our wharf. I just think of them and I laugh.
Yeah, the
I love
stories
them.
those harbor seals could tell, right?
Yeah.
One time, this guy dropped a boot. I thought he was dropping a rock cod.
This lady with a visor yells at me.
Somebody dropped a shiny brick down here.
This guy chucked me a bread bowl. No,
this guy threw a bread bowl at me. Holy clam chowder.
Dude, that guy would throw like 6 or 7 bread bowls in. Dude.
Oh, yeah.
Did you move since he got banned? He's banned.
Yeah, he got banned. I knew that.
Yeah. I've never seen anyone banned from the wharf before.
Oh, that was a whole mess. Anyways. So I was just impressed overall about the whole situation, to be honest. Just to kind of get us back on track. Also, if you're wondering how hard it is to find an octopus underwater, I tell my snorkel passengers that it's like the gold medal of snorkeling if they can find a octopus during the trip. I've only had one group of passengers find one so far since I've been here.
There's one that lives in your harbor, Katlyn.
Shh.
Oh, sorry.
No, I mean like in Molokini or
he was
on
like
the
sitting
South Shore.
there like staring at me. I was like, that rock looks different from the other rocks. I was like,
that rock has eyes. Yeah. No, in Molokini there's a couple and I've seen them before, but if you're just a novice snorkeler, you would never see it. So
Novice.
And then
I don't know.
the other film was I Am Greta. Did anyone watch that?
I did. So I just put it on there as like just a FYI, like if you're looking for an environmental movement type film, Hulu did a documentary on Greta Thunberg. And I think a lot of the footage actually came from her dad. Because some of the footage is like before her really famous speeches. and like when she first started school striking. And it's a pretty like personable look at Greta's life, because she does have Asperger's, and she like emotionally she processes things differently than other people, and so like they do have a few like raw moments where this teenage girl is just like trying to come to grips with like this huge crisis, and you know how she's trying to process that and be constantly disappointed by adults that are in positions of power. And they have some like cool footage from when she came across the Atlantic on the sailboat. So it's cool. I got, you know, we all got a little theater dust in our eyes at some point during the film, as Duke would say, because it is pretty emotional to watch her like be so disappointed a few times with the policymakers. But yeah, it's a good film. So if you're looking for something to watch, that's my recommendation. Is I Am Greta on
It's on
Hulu.
Hulu, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. It is really frustrating. Just, you know, like I think we all have those days where we're just pretty defeated when you look at the future. But I think at the end of the day,
and I should have heard our conversation like 2 days
yesterday.
ago.
I
Yeah,
missed it. It's tough, and like for
yeah.
people that like us that really care about the future and whatever aspect, whether it be your children's, whether it be whales, whether it be rainforest, like it's pretty depressing. But at the same time, there's a lot left that is worth fighting for. I think Jane Goodall said that best. And yeah, you can't give up hope. You can't just stop. You know, obviously it's disappointing when policymakers constantly choose money over wilderness and nature, but like you got to keep fighting. You got to keep chugging along.
Yep. So, okay. Do you guys want to do conference updates, or do you want to do news?
you could probably
The
say
conference
the conference.
updates are quick.
Yeah, they're really quick. It's only 2.
Oh, okay.
Katlyn, I don't know if you caught this. It's not in the notes, but the biennial is scheduled for I clicked the wrong email. Hold on.
2022.
2021 December 13th through 17th. I wonder how they're gonna do it. It's based out of Palm Beach, but it's gonna be
That's not gonna happen.
yeah.
Palm Beach.
What do you mean? It is gonna happen. They don't care.
I
over
went
there.
to
It's gonna be a
Florida
hybrid,
this last
yeah.
winter. I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen.
They're calling it the first fully hybrid live virtual conference. So I'm wondering how that's gonna be. So they know they can't probably get everyone there. So I think that's what they mean by hybrid.
Yeah, the international folks are gonna be like, "That's a no from me."
Yeah, come to the
Palm Beach is the best they could come up with. No offense if you're from Palm Beach.
It's a bidding system.
Gotcha.
Like, and they try and share the North American versus European versus South Pacific locations to try and like every few years accommodate the amount of travel that the international researchers have to do, because if it's always in North America, then the US and Canadian researchers never have to spend a lot of money to go anywhere, and that's not really fair to everyone else. So
went from like what, San Francisco, Spain, Canada.
Yeah, it went from San Francisco to Halifax to Spain to Florida.
What's Palm Beach?
Actually, one more before San Francisco was Dunedin.
Oh, so, New Zealand?
Yeah.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Palm Beach, which part of Florida is that?
Atlantic coast on the south.
On the south, okay.
Yeah.
So I can go like live like, if I do go, well, I don't know if it's safe to go.
We'll go look for right whales.
I'll go on A1A Beachfront Avenue, like Vanilla Ice.
Oh my god.
A1A.
Okay,
Beachfront
so that's
Avenue.
Society for Marine Mammalogy. More information to come on that one. But coming up pretty quickly is January 30th is the ACS conference. The registration is free.
And it's just opened up this morning.
Yeah, so if you want to register, I shared a post on our Facebook page with more information, but we'll probably put it in the show notes as well. And then
Go
I just
Goats.
met with someone who works for Whale Trust, which is putting on the Whale Tales Conference, which normally happens in Maui on Valentine's Day weekend. This year it's fully virtual. And it's actually honestly a bigger program than it would be in person, which is pretty cool. So it's a $60 donation to Whale Trust to register. And during the live weekend, everything will be programmed in. There will be some live like breakout sections and discussion rooms and things like that. But all of the main like keynote talks are going to be pre-recorded and just queued up and played as if it were a live event. So for your registration fee, you get access to those talks for 30 days, which is pretty cool. Because, you know, $60 right now for some people, that's going to be a lot of money, especially if you can't participate on the actual weekend. But they're going to try and make as much information available for 30 days after the event as possible, which is really
mainly,
cool.
Awesome.
Is it mainly Pacific humpback whale talk, or is it a lot of other?
They have like
things?
Ken Balcom. They have all kinds of speakers on there. Let me see.
You could talk about orca all day long in Hawaii.
Yeah, dude.
And you mean in San Juan Island?
Yeah. We
thought-
just can't get away from these topics.
Ken Balcom's in San Juan Island.
I know,
Eric-
but I'm just saying, isn't whale
Eric
tails a
just
Hawaiian
hates
thing?
orca.
Yeah, typically it's mostly Hawaiian stuff, but this year I think they're trying to branch out more. I'm trying to get the link to load right now because I have a preview and registration link, which had like a full list of speakers. But my internet is very slow. Why is it not working? Oh, here we go. Okay, so virtual experience. The speaker preview is Ken Balcom, Moira Brown, Jim Darling, Ellen Garland, Beth Goodwin, Mark Korostelev, Mark Lammers, Ed Lyman, Flip Nicklin, Roger Payne. Ooh, that'll be good. Flip has always been a part of Whale Trust. So
Awesome.
he brings in like the photographer aspect to their content. And let's see, Roger Payne, Andrew Stevenson, Jason Sturgis, Hal Whitehead, Dave
cool.
Wiley. So you've got East Coast guys.
Yeah.
So Dr. Roger Payne is the one who put out Songs of the Humpback Whale in 1970. Andrew Stevenson does a lot of work with the breeding grounds of the North Atlantic humpback whales. And then Dave Wiley is with Stellwagen Bank National Marine Sanctuary. Hal Whitehead is with Dalhousie University in Canada. So you got a pretty good mix of people. This
Okay, that's
Mike
good. Yeah.
Korostelev is actually whale watching Russia. So that'll be
Cool.
cool. Yeah, so it looks like it's gonna be a really good program.
Yeah, because I was thinking it was like, I know it's Hawaiian based, but I don't know. I was like, when the first name you mentioned is Ken, I was like, wait, is it gonna become Orca Fest?
Exactly. No, I mean, I think we'll see what it's gonna be, but I think it's supposed to be more all encompassing since it's virtual this year, which will be cool.
Yeah.
Because I went to one of the days last year because I was off work, and I really enjoyed it. And I'm excited to see how the virtual goes.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So yeah, so if you want to register, we'll make the link available in a couple different places. But it's called Whale Tales, and it's hosted by Whale Trust. And it is Valentine's Day weekend.
Send me that link, Katlyn, personally. I want.
So are we all going?
I'm going to. I'm going to pay for it. Even if I have to work, I can watch the stuff later.
Oh, I was going to say we could have a watch party.
Yeah, let's do a watch party in Maui. Oh. Oh.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Just build a boat.
Should we go through some whale news real quick?
Whale news.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some calves born.
A lot. Whale, North Atlantic right whale calves 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11.
Oh, dude, those are such cool names for calves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
They don't get names till later in life. They get catalog numbers.
Oh,
okay.
Theodore.
What's
Theodore, Roosevelt.
You guys are awful.
What's the survival rate on those? Is it like,
Not good.
Oh, you just looked at them funny. They're dead.
Like 1 in 11 possibly can make it, or is it better than that?
I mean, I think having a big birth year is a good sign. Hopefully, a few of them will make it. So, calf number 5 is born to a whale named Magic. She's a 39-year-old whale, and this is her 7th calf. So, I'd say odds are pretty good. You got a really experienced mom in the prime of her reproductive years. Calf number 6 is born to a whale named -1. -1 is 27 years old. This is her 3rd calf, so odds are pretty good for that whale as well. Experienced mom, good age for reproductive years. Calf number 7 is a whale born to a whale named Binary, who's 21 years old. This is also her 3rd calf. Calf number 8 is born to a whale named Grand Teton. This is her 5th calf, and she is at least 27 years old, so they might not have seen her when she was first born.
How'd they get that name?
Do you know how they name what markings they name them after? It's those callosities on their head.
Oh, reminded them of the Tetons.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see if there's a photo. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it does look like the Grand Tetons. If you click the 3rd link, I think it's the 3rd link down in the Google Doc I sent you guys. It pulls up the Facebook post, and you can see the marks. They have a picture of Grand Teton.
It's just funny. It's named after a place where there's no ocean. That's why I was like, oh.
Yeah, it totally looks like Grand Tetons.
You guys
Adam Slater, where's the Grand Tetons?
Up north.
Hint, I drove through it.
Do you guys see what's in the water?
Wyoming.
It's in Jacksonville. Jackson Hole, I mean Jacksonville.
Jackson Hole, yeah.
Good job,
Jackson
guys.
Florida.
Hey,
good job.
Do you see what's in the water? You guys are only caring about whales, but there's
the jellyfish.
Yeah.
The cannonball jellyfish.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I saw those. Also, you can eat them.
Delicious.
Oh, you've eaten one, Eric?
I don't think I've eaten the cannonball. I've eaten some type of jelly.
It does look like the Grand Tetons.
You clicked on it.
What picture? I don't see the picture.
The 3rd.
The 3rd link should go to a Facebook post.
Facebook.
We should post that picture.
I'll put the links in the show notes in the comments on our Facebook page. And then, okay, so we're up to calf number 8. Calf number 9 is born to a whale that does not have a for fun name. It just has catalog number 2420. Calf number 10 is born to a whale called Bocce. And Bocce's 13 years old, and this is her 2nd calf. And then calf number 11 is born to catalog number 3130. And 3130 is 20 years old, and this is her 3rd calf. So we've got lots of experienced moms and lots of babies. So hopefully this is a good cohort of North Atlantic right whales.
Sounds very promising.
Yeah. So
Knocking on wood.
New generation of baby whales to celebrate.
They're so cute. I just want to pinch their cheeks.
Pinch their callosities. Rub their callosities.
Yeah.
And then some updates. If you are on the East Coast and you are a boater, this new slow zones have been set for. Oh my gosh! I don't know if you can hear the dogs barking. I'm sorry. Somebody must be walking into the house.
Yeah, we can. So disruptive.
Josie's outside barking, and then now Oliver's in the house getting going. Okay, so if you're on the East Coast, there's a new slow zone set up for southeast of Atlantic City, New Jersey from January 9th to January 24th because there were acoustic detections of right whales in the area. And then the New England Aquarium Aerial Survey Team also saw right whales south of Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. So the slow zone is extended from January 8th to January 23rd in that region outside of Martha's Vineyard. So if you're a boater in that area and you are out cruising around, the slow zone is 10 knots or less is required for boats 65 feet and larger. And then they would like a voluntary 10 knots or less from all vessels. So,
wow.
Yeah. If you see a whale, slow down. They are very fragile. They need your protection. And
need your love.
And Noah and and the groups that are doing the observations work together on getting that information out to people. So you can follow along on NOAA's website, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, if you are going to be boating in that area. Because also off the coast of Georgia and Florida, where all the moms and calves are, it's also an area where you need to drive slow. So definitely do your research if you're going to go out on your boat. Okay, this next one is not very fun to talk about. I feel like we have to. So
let me prepare myself.
There is a reward out for anyone that has information about this. But someone scraped the name Trump on the back of a manatee in Florida. This was 3 days ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like they scraped off the algae. They didn't actually mess up their skin too badly, but it's still a violation of the Marine Mammal Protection Act. It's still not okay to do to an animal. So yeah, I'm disappointed. I hope if someone knows anything about it that they turn that person in, because that is a federal crime.
And it's a big chunk of change, right?
Yeah, it's
$50,000.
Yeah, I think if they wanted to,
saying.
They can pursue up to $100,000 fine and 6 months in jail, I think.
Yeah, I think it said up to a year in prison.
There needs to be more people put away for Marine Mammal Protection Act violations, like actual prison time, instead of just no, you know?
Yeah, don't do that.
Something finally happened to the guy who shot the elephant seal over here, over in, was it San Simeon area? Yeah.
You just went up and shot at the beach?
Yeah, you didn't hear about that? Look it up.
I remember it, but...
Yeah. I think that case is finally done.
Well, and then there's a few unsolved sea otters, too, in Central California. No, but remember the ones that were on shore dead with bullet wounds? That was 4 years ago.
Yeah, there's a few sea otter harassment cases up here.
So, Katlyn and Eric, you guys have both swam with manatees, right?
Yeah.
So I did too.
Oh, okay. Well, what are your guys' thoughts? Like, how the heck do you think someone was able to even get up? Was it just sleeping and they just held on? I know they're very docile, right?
Yeah, they're very docile.
And they actually,
you could easily do that.
And some of them kind of, if you touch them, some of them they kind of
they like it. Obviously it's on their terms.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this mostly looks like someone took the algae off, so the manatee probably wasn't in pain. So it may not have made too many moves to try and get away. It almost looks like a wire brush or something that they use to scrape it.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't take much to hold it in place if it did,
Well, they're pretty slow. They're pretty slow moving, too.
Yeah.
They can be quick when they want to be. I've seen it.
No, totally. But I don't know.
But sometimes they actually probably think, oh, this person's rubbing my back. This is nice.
So do you think it was in an area, because there's obviously ecotourism around it, or there was?
Yeah, it's over.
It's in
Homosassa. It happened in Homosassa, and it's in Citrus County, which is the only county where you can actually swim legally. Where they actually have the businesses to be in the water with them.
So do you think it was someone that was on a tour, or do you think it was someone that went on their own time? Or
I'm sure it's someone that went on their own time.
Crazy.
Yeah, the people who work, 99% of the people who work for those companies, trust me, are all about those animals. My guides have always actually chewed out the people who are doing bad stuff. So I've been with the times I've been out, there have been with really good people.
Yeah, the person that got the footage was a captain for a fishing charter company that leaves out of Crystal River. So an ecotourism company got the footage and called Fish and Wildlife. So yeah, don't. Someone put it really well in the article. Manatees are not billboards, so don't do that. That's bad.
The world's pretty crazy right now.
It really is. No matter what side of the political spectrum you land on, don't be harassing wildlife. That's not what you want to do. There's also another video that surfaced recently that I saw. Do you guys know that like Brother Nature dude?
Mm-mm.
He's like this like TikTok guy that like talks to like wild animals, but he did a video of himself, and he was sitting within the San Simeon elephant seal colony, and he was like,
is that the guy laying down on the ground like I'm sleeping?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He just like got a video of himself like sitting next to like sleeping moms and babies, and it's like, bro, you should not be doing that. That is totally a violation of the Marine Mammal Protection Act.
But also like pretty risky for you,
dude.
Like...
I commented on the post. I was like, this dude's about to get his ass whooped. Like, one of these moms is not gonna be happy.
Yeah, like one of those females lays on you, you're dead.
Yeah. Did you guys see that picture I put up the other day over at Ray? Kind of different over there. You can actually be on the beach with them, but there's like rangers everywhere, and they actually kind of draw a big circle in the sand around the elephant seals, so you know not to cross them.
Let's cross that line.
So it's kind of funny. I actually, that's how I got that shot. I laid down on the ground, with them. But yeah, you're good, a good distance away from them. But yeah, there's a few rangers who will actually go out there and draw a big sand in a circle, and you're watched like a hawk. I mean, yesterday afternoon there were like 6 rangers there, and one of them was actually pretty knowledgeable. I think she actually is dedicated to working with the elephant seals and marine mammals in the area. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, but not a good idea.
People are wild, man.
Those big males, yeah. Just that thing, just not even attacking you, just being on top of you, you're gonna get hurt.
Totally.
Yep.
I miss going to Año Nuevo, Eric, huh?
Yeah, me and Slater had some fun hikes there.
Yeah, this is the time of year too.
Yeah, all the big boys are there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think let's skip one link down, and we'll talk about the paper last. So let's talk about the nutrient cycling of whales in the ocean briefly.
The whale poo?
Yeah, the whale poo.
Eric's favorite.
It's my favorite too. Okay, so this is an older article that had been reworked and republished in SciTech Daily. They actually quote Ken Norris a lot, who has passed away quite a few years ago, actually, right? At least 5 years ago. More than that.
I don't know.
So anyway, so we know that whales are part of the nutrient pump in the ocean. They're called the whale pump. So not only is it their movement up and down the water column, mixing up nutrients and bringing them to the surface to phytoplankton, but also when they feed, they're feeding below the photic layer typically, so where light is not penetrating the water. And when they poop, they're pooping at the surface. So they're transporting all of those nutrients up into the photic layer again and making those nutrients available for phytoplankton. So them just doing their natural biological processes, they're fertilizing the surface layer of the ocean. So that makes them an ecosystem engineer. But this article is kind of talking more about taking that a step further, like trying to scale it out even further. And the component that we're kind of like missing is that it actually echoes into the land ecosystems more than we really realized. So if whales are boosting the phytoplankton, that's then boosting fish populations, and the movement of nutrients from the ocean up river systems is actually a pretty big deal, which I think is something that's really interesting to look at, is where like the land and the sea intersect, especially when it comes to nutrient cycling. So it could be that those smaller fish are being eaten by anadromous fish. So like a salmon eats an anchovy that was eating phytoplankton that was fertilized by a whale, and then that salmon swims upriver and it dies upriver, and all those nutrients then go into the river habitat.
That's so cool.
It's just the nature is so much deeper than anyone can even think.
Yeah.
Well, lots of people have been saying, whales don't get enough credit for, literally fertilizing the ocean. Everyone's like, thank you, trees, for the air I breathe. But it's like, all that plankton,
Thank you for the nutrients in my soil.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or like, like an osprey picks up a fish out of the ocean, then goes eats it in the forest and like drops the carcass in the forest. And so it's like all these different distribution methods. And then you have these big echoing effects. Like this one paper says that they estimate that certain nutrient pumps have declined by over 80%, in part because of the removal of large animals such as whales. Like we had no idea how much we were messing this up until we took all these animals out.
Guys, I have a documentary / book idea. This is the title. How whales feed bears.
And how we're
Yeah.
messing it up.
How whales save the planet.
Dude, like imagine all the freaking Kodiak bears and stuff that eat all the salmon that like is there because of the Alaskan humpback whale population or whatever. Like, it's like crazy.
Yeah. Well, and also the other thing I think about a lot is before commercial whaling, like it was not unusual for whales to die of natural causes, wash up on the shore, and then all kinds of terrestrial animals would come in and eat the carcass. Wolves, coyotes, bears, condors.
Here in the Bay,
turkey
there's like
vultures.
some written records about the first few people here. They were like whale carcasses surrounding this bay, and grizzlies were gnawing at them.
Yeah.
In San
Well,
Francisco
can you
Bay?
imagine?
No, here in Monterey Bay.
Oh, I was saying
Yeah.
Monterey Bay, I believe it
Yeah.
because of all the forest behind us.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd believe it anywhere on the West Coast, honestly, before European settlement.
Yeah.
God, what an amazing. Imagine.
Can you
just
imagine going to Big
that.
Sur and seeing bears? Adam?
Yeah. I
Oh my gosh,
we
man.
lost grizzlies.
Bear
What?
photography.
Incredible. We lost grizzlies in the
Nin-
1800s.
Was it early 19, or was it 18?
I think
Was
it
that
was
early?
late.
I want to say
I think it
19.
was late.
Oh, so it's a single digit. It was
You
like
know,
maybe the
JJ
last.
I took a class on this. I should know this crap.
Really?
JJ,
Hurry up.
JJ believes there's still bears in Big Sur.
I mean, there's
Nah.
black bears.
Slater, there are.
Oh.
Remember Slater?
No, I'm sorry. He thinks there's a grizzly bear. He thinks there's one. Not. I know there's black bears. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's
but,
black bears here. Me and Slater actually went to go look for it when we first moved here.
yeah. Oh yeah, we went up to that park. What's that park called?
Jack's Peak.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about the grizzly bear is people don't realize. Yeah, they were here in California. It's our state flag, but
Oh, you're right. 1924, less than 75 years after the discovery of gold, every grizzly bear in California had been tracked down and killed. It has been extinct since 1924. Although the grizzly had roamed the state at will for 300 years, the gold rush of 1849 rang the death knell. Rang the death knell for the bear. So yeah.
In fact, one of this last specimens is right down the street in the Pacific Grove Museum. I think a skull of one of the last California grizzly bears. And I randomly came across a grizzly bear skull on some guy's ranch coming back home from. No, you know what? It wasn't a whale trip from Baja. It was back in my racing days. We were on this guy's ranch, and there was a grizzly bear skull. And he told me, yeah, he just found it on the ranch property.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Wow.
So northern Baja was still grizzly bear territory too.
Yeah.
Dang.
That's nuts.
It's pretty incredible just to think of how we've affected ecosystems and stuff like that. Because I can imagine a whale kill being a huge, nutrient-rich portion of the environment of the coastal California. I can't even imagine how much impact that would have.
Don't forget whale falls. Yeah.
It's a whale fall. It's essentially a whale fall on the beach, but
yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Welcome to the Bear Nerds.
So, and I think Ken had some good quotes at the end. It's an enormous challenge to try and reinstate these systems of massive scale of these connections between the land and sea. But the impacts of not doing anything about it could be really severe. And he just said, we simply don't know enough about this. We know that losing big animals is ecologically problematic at these massive scales, but we don't know the exact impacts of losing them. So how long have we got to sort these issues out, and what could be done about them? Which of course just leaves you hanging in suspense because no one has the right answer. But I think a lot of people are looking too narrow at how everything functions.
Damn.
I mean, the details are important, but there's these big picture ideas that also are just as important.
Totally. I love science.
Science.
Yeah. I want to be a scientist when I grow up.
You do?
Yeah, I'm gonna be a scientist. Of knowledge.
I'm gonna be a waffle head.
Turkey burger.
Turkey burger.
Oh, there it is.
Or ranch or barbecue sauce.
Well, that's
Both.
really interesting, and I'm glad you brought that up, Katlyn, because that is kind of mind-boggling to think of, really.
Yeah, that's one of the topics that like always trips me out is like the connection between the ocean and the terrestrial environment, like all the pathways. So, okay, so this episode's going to be a little bit long if we go into this next topic, but I think we
Let's
should
do
just do it now since it's hot off the press.
YOLO!
Okay, so on January 12th, an article came out in Frontiers in Marine Science. It is called Effects of Vessel Distance and Sex on Behavior of Endangered Killer Whales. So this is done by Conservation Biology Division of the Northwest Fisheries Science Center of the National Marine Fisheries Service, which is part of National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, based in Seattle, Washington. Linker Technologies from Virginia, Department of Fish and Wildlife and Conservation Biology, University of California, Davis, and Cascadia Research Collective. So these groups put together some data that actually was collected in 2010, 2012, and 2014. Those dates are going to be important. Using suction cup multi-sensor tags on southern resident killer whales, trying to determine what behaviors the killer whales are doing in the presence of vessels. So we all know that the main threat to southern resident killer whales is not enough food, but a hot topic of regulation and debate about those regulations has been about vessels. So they had these biologging tags attached to the whales. They recorded like sound, direction, speed. I don't know if they had video. I don't think they had video. So they were using like the movement of the whale underwater, the depth, and any audio they picked up to determine like these states that the whales were in behaviorally. Some important things to note. So these tags, all this data is from 2010, 2012, 2014. This is when the whale watch regulations were just barely starting to change from the regular 100-yard rule. And the vessel distances that they logged in this data set is not reflective of what whale watch boats are currently having to do. They did collect data in Canada and in the US, and they had 23 attempted deployments of tags. They had to throw 10 of those samples out. So they only have data in their models from 13 tags. And 2 of those 13 tags were repeat deployments on the same whale in different years. So like 2 of the 13, or it's like 9 unique whales.
Did
right?
it say why they had to
11.
throw 10 of them out?
Did collect data in Canada, and some of them they had to throw out because the audio from the noise of the water moving over the tag was too loud to correlate with the behavior acoustically of the whale.
Gotcha.
So it's a really small sample size. And then would it be 11 or would it be 9 whales if they had 2 different whales that were tagged twice? It would be 9 different individuals. Is that right?
Yeah.
Can I do math?
Oh, 2 that were tagged twice? I thought it was the same
Yeah.
one that was
I
tagged
think
twice.
said once.
There was
You said the same one
K30
tagged twice.
K33 and L91 were both tagged twice, but in separate years.
L91, that's Muncher, I think. Hello.
So the conclusion of the paper is that when vessels are less than 400 yards away and they don't really determine what, like they don't really categorize the vessels very well. When the vessels are less than 400 yards away, animals are more likely to shift from a foraging state to a traveling or resting state, especially females. Out of these 13 tags that they analyzed. So potentially what that could mean is that if vessels are less than 400 yards away, the whales are spending more of their time traveling or resting and not feeding. However, I had a couple questions about that. And I'm sure you guys will have some as well. But the research vessel that was monitoring like the focal follow of the tagged animal during the tag deployment matched whale watch vessel behavior at the time of observation. So even the research vessel potentially was less than 400 yards away from the tagged animal, is how I read that.
Well, how would they tag it? Are you saying
tag?
Are you saying that the observations are after they tag it? Like, how long is the tag on for?
Yeah, so the method was that they would attach the suction cup tag to the individual animal, and then they, in their research vessel, would focal follow the whales with a rangefinder, and they would follow all the vessels that were also following the whales. So they'd be like taking a range measurement of how far the vessels were, how far the whales were, and calculating how close all the vessels were and for what period of time. And then when they would get the tag back, they would then match all the timestamps up to look at what was the whale's dive profile like during those times. So then they made this model to look at how often was the whale doing dive patterns that were signatures of feeding, how often was the whale doing dive patterns that were indicative of resting or traveling, and then looking at, based on the variety of vessel distances, how often were they changing between those different behavioral states.
It's so tough to.
But then they said that they
categorize.
they said that they were also matching the whale watch vessel behavior, but don't really specify what distance they were away from the whales.
Yeah, and don't you think that also just like tagging a whale would obviously put it in a different state for at least a little bit, like.
Right. And there's not a whole lot of discussion about that either. Like, they leave off the first 5 minutes of each tag deployment if you look at the graph.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Which I'm assuming that they're then which figure is this? Which I'm assuming is because the whale's just been tagged.
Yeah. So they give it 5 minutes of resting time to kind of settle down or whatever.
I don't know, or maybe they just cut off the first 5 minutes so that the time series is synced up at like a designated start point. I'm not really sure.
Maybe.
And then like looking at this, I don't know what figure number this is, but I'll show you my screen. Like, can you guys see that screen?
Yeah.
So in 3,
figure 1.
So the purple dive lines shows foraging. That's state number 2. So in 3 of them, the whales didn't forage at all the whole time the tag was on.
Okay.
So I don't really know what to make of that.
So Katlyn, this is a different article than you and I spoke about, right?
No, this is the same one.
So why is mine's on the NOAA website though?
I just have mine directly on the journal, but is it the same title?
No.
Frontiers in Marine Science, Effects of Vessel Distance.
Mine says interrupting feeding southern resident killer whales, especially females.
Yeah, so this is saying like their
part
conclusion is, yeah, that's part of it. Their conclusion is that if vessels are less than 400 yards away, the animals stop feeding, especially the females. And they're saying that the females have more time dedicated to raising young that then like would facilitate them prioritizing stopping foraging when there's vessels around. But then I had another question, which is, so then were the females that were tagged, were they currently caring for young at the time of the tag deployment?
Totally, yeah, that's a great question.
Like, did you get a measurement on that? And then they also said they didn't do any tagging at night. And there's a possibility that the whales are recovering foraging time at night when there's less vessels around. So.
And is that tag and the boats, making it a lot more stressful than just
Exactly.
I'm sorry, but when they put the tags on the whale, I think it's very like the data's
it's skewed.
Well, especially if you have such
I
a
don't know.
small sample size. 13 is not a very big sample.
I vaguely remember them telling me a story last time I was in San Juan Island about how they tagged a whale, and then the female that they tagged had split off from the group. Like they split off and then didn't meet up till the next day. Because I'm sure it stresses the whale out. They're very smart. They have to know there's something stuck to their body.
Yeah, and then they didn't really break out. They broke out vessel types in their discussion. They talked about recreational vessels and whale watch vessels. But that still leaves a pretty wide span of like what those vessels are in size, what kind of engines they have, what kind of noise they make. Do they have depth sounders on them? You know, there's all kinds of questions there about acoustic disturbance that, I don't know, aren't really reflected super heavily in the paper.
It seems like there's so many variables that are so hard to A, record, and then B, categorize. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think this is a piece of the management puzzle, but I don't think this should be the defining paper on how to best manage.
Definitely not.
Around
this is all. Every single thing comes back to like vessel noise and whale watch boats. Nothing has to do with commercial fishing. It has to do with the dams. Has to do with the farming. Like I don't understand why it just keeps coming back to the whale watch boats.
Because that's the easiest. That's the easiest. They're gonna say people are harassing these animals. You know, the whale watchers are harassing these animals, and it's the easiest out. But in reality, to be honest, like I'm all for science and observational studies, but a lot of this paper, from what I've read so far, just doesn't seem to really have any conclusive thoughts.
And like how long are they out there for? Are they out there every single day of the year?
The methods for it too just don't really like how are you going to differentiate killer whales, different foraging or different states when they're underwater the majority of the time?
And it's not like the southern residents are in the same spot every day.
Yeah. But even the tag, like
they're basing it on the pitch and the yaw and the speed of the whale. So like how much it's rolling, how fast it's descending, how quick.
And another thing, I'm
estimating though.
I'm reading through this. It's talking about mimicking a whale watching boat that follows the rules. You know, like
and there's not really
a watch boat.
Yeah.
There's no data from their observations about level of compliance in the paper. They reference another paper that discusses compliance in general for that area.
I first. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they mentioned boats, the other boats. Like it mentions, private vessels, you know, engaged in recreational fishing or transiting area, but they didn't imitate those boats, you know, or it seems like they're just.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, because imitating a private boater is just running over the killer whale.
Exactly.
Adam, did you ever witness them trying to tag the whales up there?
I witnessed them do some weird things. I definitely seen the researchers be really close up on the whales. I can't recall if I've seen them tag, but
it was my first time there, and they were chasing, and it happened to be a very important whale in the group, and they were chasing her like in circles, like straight up trying to get a tag on her, and it's like, of course she's gonna stop eating, especially once she gets a tag on her. When you've been literally chasing in circles for 30 minutes. That's
the thing. They're like, oh, like, you know, females are more susceptible to stop foraging when there's a vessel nearby. And it's like, no, I think they're more susceptible to stop foraging because there's a freaking tag on their back.
I'm sorry, but I think that I'm not definite. I didn't go to college or do the science stuff, but I really truly believe that it makes the data not as, you know, acceptable.
It's not as compelling. Yeah.
It's not observational. That's not an observational study.
Now, if they flew drones the whole entire time versus sticking a tag on it, I would believe that honestly more because they're at least not interrupt. You know what I mean? They're not like they're not chasing it. Yeah, like that. I feel like they could, you know, if they put, back-to-back batteries out there for 4 hours each day with Southern residents, I would believe that data more than I would them tagging it, because they spend an hour trying to get a tag on one whale.
Yeah, there's not really a whole lot of discussion about the behavioral response of tagging.
Yeah,
exactly. Which should probably be in your discussion. You should probably have a note in your methods and allude to the fact that you're going to discuss that with your results.
Well, who put this together? Like, it's obviously not Ken Balcom.
The government.
Well, there you go. I don't recognize.
And I'm not discrediting anyone either. I'm just saying.
It's a government collaborative with Cascadia, but I think there's a couple. I mean, I think you need to put the data out, right? Like, these tags are from
100%,
7 years ago and older.
Gosh,
but
took a while.
The situation with the number of whales, the amount of stress with the food, and the new regulations of whale watching has kind of changed the game a little. So I'm not sure how much this is going to inform you. You know what I mean? Because now there's so much more restrictions on whale watching. There's a whole lot of different zones that you can't watch the whales in anymore. The distances are increased. And then we don't have a clear snapshot of what happened during COVID when there weren't really very many boats out. Yeah. I mean, I think that's another...
Again, I think you said it best, Katlyn. This is obviously a piece of the puzzle, but this shouldn't in no way, shape, or form be what people, base their ideas around or use as like solid defining evidence. It just does. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked here, and it seems like there's a lot missing. Is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Please don't decide what whale watching boats should do based on this article.
Exactly. We should honestly do a whole mini episode just on this.
We should really get someone from the Pacific Northwest.
Well,
on
I
here.
was gonna say maybe we should have Sarah and Jeff back on here.
We should get Sarah on, yeah.
Or Gary too. Because Gary, is involved with a lot of it as well, especially on the Canadian side.
Since we've been talking about it so much, maybe we should
7 people on here.
Firsthand.
Dude, that'd be
7 people on one episode.
This is a whale chat room.
It's interesting. I don't know.
And then the other question that I've always wanted to answer is, you get this kind of data, right? You're starting to piece together and maybe quantify your level of disturbance, even with ecotourism, because you can't deny there's some level of disturbance, right?
100%. 100%.
So then how do you also quantify the positive impacts of your ecotourism operation, and where do the scales balance, or do they not balance? That's what I've always wanted to try and figure out, is your education programming and your conservation messaging reinforcing enough long-lasting positive behaviors amongst your passengers to have a measurable impact, despite the fact that you're burning fossil fuels and you're putting noise in the ocean?
That's a very good question.
But
the way I look at that, at attacking that question, is if whale watching eco-tour companies weren't out there, how would you see a whale?
Right. Yeah. Then there's that.
How would you build that connection? How you would have to have your own boat. You'd have to figure. You'd have to find whales, find where they migrate to.
Right.
Find where they.
And so that's part of how that's another factor that you have to try and calculate in, right? Is making these connections with people. How much does that count for? And the sentinel actions of whale watchers around boats that are misbehaving, that counts for something.
Well, I think you kind of have to, I mean, not necessarily, but account it for the majority of, action. People act on things because they see it and they love it. And obviously, you see stuff on TV, you watch BBC documentaries, maybe you donate to a research organization, and those are aspects as well. But
then a lot of these whale watch companies are submitting research data for free to these organizations, and they're the ones going to those town hall meetings, and the employees are the ones submitting public comments during these management meetings, and they're the ones facilitating petitions, and going to demonstrations, public gatherings. They're the ones that are volunteering their time with, American Cetacean Society. So like all those things I think do add up. Like this community around ecotourism
Totally.
is so much more than just the boat operation, and it does make a difference. So how do you measure it? That's always my question. How do you measure it? And does it pencil out? I think it does, but I don't have any proof.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't see how you could take ecotourism out of the equation and still have people care.
Yeah.
To a certain extent. I mean, like a lot of people that we talk to or message us on Instagram have never seen a whale. They live in the middle of the country, but they always say, I see your stuff and I see the photos you create or whatever, and that's something that I would love to see one day. That's like a bucket list thing, and like I don't know. It's a really good question, but I'm obviously biased because I work for an eco-tour company, but I think at the end of the day, it's an important aspect, and it can't really be ignored.
Yes.
Which I guess is what this whole thing's about, but it's on the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yep.
My brain, it hurts.
Any other thoughts, Eric or Slater?
It's like the same answer I always do that.
Just morons out there who are strictly, there's just people who are just like anti-boaters, especially over there in the San Juans. I think me and Slater talked about that. You're making any excuse to
whale watching boats, protect them, and gather data free.
Yeah.
Scientists can never get that. They have to get funds from people that donate, and you can get tons of free data from people that are just doing it as their job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and they make it sound like these are
you need whale watch.
They sound like they really think we're out there like chasing the whales. Like a lot of these people who like are fanatical, typical orchid people, they wouldn't love these animals if they didn't see us whale watchers putting up the pictures online. They wouldn't know about these things, these news items that report on the news about the calves, unless as whale watchers saw them and reported them.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
But like Katlyn said, you can't ignore that there has to be some impact.
There has to be some, but it's not. It's not whale watchers. They're going after. You don't see any papers out there. It's always like whale watching boats, like tourism, ecotourism, but like
totally.
What about private boaters? What about the fucking dams? They're still ignoring that.
Yeah.
I mean, the private boaters, like somebody posted in Cetal Fauna. I don't know if it's this exact same article, but I commented and I just kind of like said my experience with it, and I was just like, look, like I worked one season in Washington, and the amount of times I saw a private boater literally run through a pod of killer whales, I can't count it, and I was there for 3.5 months. The amount of times that like we went there and like we would try to honk them or hail them over the radio or literally put our boat in front of their boat, like to make them stop. It's just like, it's insane. Like that should not be the case.
Yeah,
and
I've seen it. Yeah,
when you're going to focus on
when
you're going to focus on whale watching, the people that care and the people that are putting this information
out there. Yeah, the whale watchers are the eyes. We're the ones keeping the eye on everything out there. You think they really think we're purposely out there,
like again, I don't doubt that there's some sort of small impact of whale watchers, and especially responsible whale watchers, because there are some companies that, as we know, aren't the most reputable or portray themselves as the most reputable, but don't have proper, drive around the whales
have good
properly.
vessel etiquette. Yeah,
exactly. And that's a different discussion, I think. But for the most part, the majority of companies are very respectful and have captains that have been doing this for 30 years and know what they're doing.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that are overlooking, like the survival rate of the calves that they talked about, like the amount of toxins.
Yeah, what about the pollution?
The moms having their blubber, and why that's happening. They don't bring that up. It's like, and another thing, it's like, dude, literally all four of us, we wouldn't be here because of if it wasn't for whale watching, and all they're doing is going after whale watchers. I don't get it.
Well, it makes a lot more sense that this is a governmental paper. That kind of.
I mean, and
Fizzle.
it's a, you know, like all, when you look at scientific publications, you should always just take it like this is data they put out. Look at the graph yourself. You can read their discussion and their intro and their context information that they've included, but look at their results and their data critically for yourself and try and draw some conclusions from it too. And if you're not getting the same conclusion that they're writing about in their results and discussion section, then that's when you need to have some time to reflect on, you know, what this paper was trying to get across, because it's just data at the end of the day, right? So like you have to look at how they modeled it, what variables were involved in collecting it, and then ask some questions about it, which is what they're supposed to do in the paper too. But, you know, sometimes like with this paper, I think we all ended up with way more questions than there are possibly answers for.
Totally.
Which to me says it's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not any significant solution. Like there needs to be more work done before you can make any significant decisions around that.
And obviously, bigger boats are louder. And then, I mean, let's stop the ferries.
That's what I was telling Katlyn.
Cargo.
Yeah.
All those wood lumber boats you see out there, you know.
Well, how many of those boats are outboards? How many of them are diesels? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So that's what I was telling Katlyn on the phone 2 days ago or yesterday. It's like there's a big difference.
Well, and how many of them are constantly in motion? Like some guy trolling for salmon is going to make a lot more noise than a whale watch boat that's sitting there drifting.
Yep.
So
it's just
Sweet.
It's asinine.
So that was all that I had prepared for this episode. I see one more topic in there. Do we want to do that one now, or do we want to leave it where we are?
Do it next time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
feel
this
like
episode's pretty long.
That's a topic that's gonna make me.
Yeah, that one deserves to be on a different episode.
I think it deserves.
It's already pretty long.
I agree.
All right. Well,
what, dude?
Thanks so much.
What, Slater?
If you made it this far.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit, Adam.
Slater punched his mic.
Punched my mic. I've been watching so much Cobra Kai, Eric. Don't you dare mess with me, dude.
You weren't even old enough for when the originals came out,
I've
did you?
seen all of them. I wasn't
you?
alive for the first one, technically. It was 84, I believe.
Yeah,
no, it was 94. 84?
84, probably.
Yeah.
I wasn't alive yet either.
I don't know anything about Daniel, son of Mr. Miyagi, all right? All the movies. I know Miyagi-Do quite well, okay?
This is the point in the podcast where we get off
everything.
Of topic.
Except for I learned.
I think he taught you everything.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, the pressure points, you know about them? Sorry.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. This is a super long one, and we got a lot of good information out there. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you to our Patreon supporters. We always really, really, really appreciate your support because it does cost money to produce this podcast. So your financial contributions are always welcome. And thanks to all of our listeners everywhere and followers on social media. We appreciate your support following along with us.
Bye,
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone.
Rock on,
Thank you.
dudes.